It was a busy few days for a Lawrenceburg police officer who made 6 drug arrests and 5 children had to be taken from their parents.
4 Danville teens were rescued last night after going several miles off trail in the Red River Gorge.
And how one man is using his own wrongful conviction to make sure it never happens to anyone else.
This is WKYT News at 5:30.
Good evening to you. A recent crackdown on drugs in Anderson County had Lawrenceburg police finding more than just drug use. They found 5 children living in bad conditions.
And police say the children were also hungry. Caitlin Setner talked to police about the arrests. It's our top story at 5:30.
One was getting ready to inject the other one with heroin.
Lawrenceburg police were conducting a knock and talk when they caught a trio in the act of using drugs. 3 arrests from one household, but there were more. The chief of police credits one of his officers for really cracking down and knowing what's going on and making multiple drug arrests.
Everybody here is a family man or a family person. We've all got kids.
Many of the arrests are impacting children of the accused drug users.
We saw that the one car was pulled over here at the stop sign, and then behind that was a police car. We saw the Fish and Wildlife truck, and he had his drug dog out, and he was kind of bouncing a tennis ball.
Kristen Durham and her husband watched as police arrested 32-year-old Athena Fritz for possession of methamphetamine and DUI. She had 3 children in the car with her.
You just don't do that. You just don't. Children can't talk for themselves.
Those 3 children were among 5 taken from parent custody. Another couple arrested in similar fashion.
They don't have any care in the world but to just get that fix, to get that high.
Police say Tracy McDowell had her 2 children in the car with her at Best Western when she was arrested on meth charges. Her husband Stanley was also charged. The kids reported not having eaten in 2 days.
As far as I'm concerned in Lawrenceburg, we're as bad, if not worse, than I've ever seen it in 23 years.
In Anderson County, Caitlin Setner, WKYT.
Very sad. Lawrenceburg police say that none of the arrests are related.
The search for a fugitive put a Southern Kentucky school on lockdown today. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Laurel County. Bush Elementary School officials confirmed they were on lockdown as police search for 27-year-old Andrew Reeves of Nicholasville. Police say Reeves was driving a stolen vehicle when they stopped him just before 11 this morning. Troopers say he got out of the vehicle and ran into some nearby woods. They're still looking for Reeves. In Warren County, police are investigating a shooting at an apartment complex near Western Kentucky University. It happened just before 11 last night at College Suites. Police say 18-year-old Mario Lopez and a friend were leaving the apartments when they found 3 men fighting, and one of those men shot Lopez. Lopez was taken to a Nashville hospital. So far, no arrests have been made.
They thought it would be a peaceful hiking trip, but after one wrong turn, 4 teenagers ended up lost at Red River Gorge. WKYT's Victor Puente has more from Wolfe County in a story that's new at 5:30.
Rescuers made contact with these teens not too long after they called for help, but it took them a few hours to get them up a cliff and out of the gorge before the temperature dropped. The call for help came about 6 o'clock Tuesday night.
We received some coordinates that the individuals were able to send us from their smartphone just prior to their phone going dead.
Using those coordinates, rescuers could hear the group but couldn't reach them.
Found them below about a 200-foot cliff. If we had decided to hike into where they were at, it would have been several miles.
The 4 teens had gotten lost after hiking on a rough trail.
Apparently they're seniors in high school there at Danville. This was their planned senior skip day.
May says they weren't as prepared as they could have been.
You know, they didn't have a map, they didn't have flashlights, and they really were not dressed. You know, I always tell people when you go into the gorge, be prepared to spend the night just in case something doesn't go right.
But they did take the proper steps once they were lost.
They called for assistance, they stayed put, they were able to build a fire and keep somewhat warm.
These pictures are from that cliff rescue. While the group was cold, they all got out safely before the temperatures dropped. May says those coordinates may have been a lifesaver.
If we hadn't had that coordinate, most likely we would still be there right now trying to find them because they were so far off the trail.
One other thing May says they suggest to hikers is to let someone else know when you're going to be hiking and where. That way, if something should happen to you, that other person could call for help if you're not able to. In Wolfe County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
The search and rescue team from Powell County provided support and additional manpower during that cliff rescue.
After highs near 70 yesterday and then strong storms, winter is back here in the Bluegrass with us.
Yes, it is. We saw snow this morning and we could see some more before the weekend. Let's check in now with our chief meteorologist, Chris Bailey. He has an early look at the forecast. Hey, Chris.
Hey, guys. Yeah, exactly right. A lot of folks waking up this morning to some snow on the rooftops, the car tops, even maybe on the decks out there. As we go into tomorrow, it's rain, it's snow, it's ugly. It's pretty out there now, but it is cold. Look at those numbers into the low and mid 30s into most of central and eastern Kentucky. It's March now, first week of March. Those normal highs are into the 50s. Instead, we're running way below where we should be. You throw the winds into the equation, it feels a lot colder. 29 is what it feels like into London, 32, Lexington 30, into Danville and Richmond. Defender radar network, nothing showing up for now. Though clouds working into western Kentucky. Notice the little precipitation shield blossoming here across parts of Iowa, Illinois, into Missouri ahead of an area of low pressure. That's what we'll track as we go into the day tomorrow. That'll bring some light rain and a touch of some light snow. Temperatures for the most part should be above the freezing mark through the course of the afternoon and evening. That means a lot of melting, but when I come back in a few minutes, we'll let you know if any of that could at least turn into a little slushy accumulation for some. Oh, and I'm tracking spring too. That's just ahead.
Chris, thank you. He spent nearly 30 years as a convicted felon charged for a crime he never committed. Now he's looking to make sure no one else goes through the same experience. WKYT's Sabira Rayford has the details in a story that's new at 5:30.
Been voiceless all this time. This just gives me a voice and I'm compelled to raise it.
Nearly 3 decades of Michael Von Allman's life was spent as a convicted felon.
With one victim pointing her finger saying that was him, I was convicted and I served 11 years in prison.
For a crime he did not commit. And today he is fighting to prevent this from happening to anyone else. House Bill 387 would focus on having a police officer who is unfamiliar with the case conduct the lineup to prevent possible coercion.
And I can tell you that the knowledge of knowing that we had incarcerated an innocent person and that a third of his life was gone was so much deeper and more painful than what had happened to me.
Rape survivor Jennifer Thompson says she too made the mistake of identifying the wrong man, but she says a uniform procedure could have prevented that.
We require best practices in aviation because we know that if we don't, innocent people get harmed. Why are we not doing that in the criminal justice system? Why aren't we doing everything possible to make sure we get it right?
But not everyone here today was in support of the bill. A representative from the Kentucky League of Cities said not every piece of scientific research should be mandated.
What we did 10 years ago is not what we're doing today, and I'm sure it's not what we'll do in 10 years in the future.
For now, the bill is still in limbo. And Von Allman says he's just hoping the justice system won't let anyone else down. In Frankfort, Sabira Rayford, WKYT.
And you can learn more about House Bill 387 and its progress on our website. Just go to WKYT.com.
Online dating websites typically see a surge near or following Valentine's Day. And while they may bring a match, they can also bring mayhem. Women think they are communicating with honest men, but they learn the hard way they are a pawn in a sweetheart scam.
I look at it now and I think, how could I be so naive?
This woman is still healing after losing hundreds of thousands of dollars in a scam, and she's asked us not to use her name. The 79-year-old ballroom dance executive says it happened after she decided to use an online dating service.
He was calling all the time. Almost every day he would call to see how I was. He also realized how musical I was or am and that I enjoyed dancing. So he would send a lot of music videos.
They decided to meet, but the man who said he was a general contractor abruptly needed to go to Malaysia for work. At one point, he said he needed money for a construction license.
The answers were always legitimate in my mind, and so I sent him the first $9,000.
Over several weeks, she sent more money, in all more than $400,000. When he asked her for a ticket to travel to the U.S., something didn't seem right, so she called authorities in Malaysia.
I'd even called the embassy and they just said, "You've been scammed, you'll never get your money."
Turns out the man she was talking to on the phone used someone else's picture and name for his profile.
For me, I thought that I was really doing well to do the background check. So obviously, these people steal identities.
Postal inspectors say the most important red flag is money.
If they're asking you for money ever, especially large dollar amounts, that it's probably a scam.
She wants to tell her story to keep others from becoming victims.
You have to be able to share it in order to live with it, because it will consume you, and it did for a long time.
Good for her for speaking up. Postal inspectors say it is important to remember there is a lot of secrecy meeting someone online. If you decide to pursue any relationship, business or personal, they recommend meeting them in person.
Some Kentucky high school students could get free college tuition under a proposed scholarship. Find out who would be eligible next on WKYT News at 5:30.
I'm Bill Bryant. A statewide poll is out ahead of Saturday's Kentucky Republican caucus. The numbers coming up on The Bottom Line.
For all your hearth and grill needs, shop barnhillchimney.com.
Who invented the Reuben? Putting sauerkraut, marble rye, and corned beef together? That's cray-cray. Then again, somebody had to eat eggs for the first time. Arby's, we have the meats.
We have more flights to more of the places you want to go every single day. See for yourself. Visit us today.
When you play Kentucky lottery games like Pick 3 and Pick 4, you help Kentucky college students pick up scholarship money.
Fueling imagination.
Funding education.
After you're injured at work, a lot of times the insurance company will attempt to call you, take statements. Don't speak to them until you speak with an experienced workers' compensation attorney.
The insurance company will attempt to settle your case for pennies on the dollar. Before you talk to the insurance company, call us first.
Our job is to make sure you get all the money you deserve.
Call Morgan, Collins, and Yeast. 1-800-55-WILDCAT.
Hi, I'm Brent. This is Geronimo. We're here to tell you about Fireplace Concepts, Lexington's only licensed fireplace shop. With over 60 years of combined experience, we know what it takes to heat a home. Come by and see us at our newly renovated showroom on Regency Road, and as always, home is where the heart is.
This new DQ chicken bruschetta is a high-end Italian sports car. No, actually, it's oven-hot focaccia bread, a balsamic glaze. It's a high-end Italian
Romance.
No, it's chopped tomatoes and herbs. It's a high-end Italian
Fashion.
It's a high-end Italian sandwich.
I like sandwich.
The new DQ Bakes Chicken Bruschetta, a premium Italian sandwich at a not-so-premium price. Hot out of the oven, only at your DQ. This is fan food, not fast food.
What does your insurance actually do when it's not doing insurance? What if you could get help with more often? And you could also plan amazing trips. Save on event tickets or hotel rooms. Even get rescued roadside. You can when you're a member and your insurance is AAA. Insurance that's not just insurance.
Stay connected to the news that matters to you. WKYT.
Voters took to the polls in 12 states yesterday and gave big wins to the frontrunners, Hillary Clinton on the Democratic side and Republican Donald Trump.
Bill Bryant breaks down the results of Super Tuesday and what it means for Kentucky's Republican caucus in today's Bottom Line.
Good evening. Super Tuesday gave more momentum to the front runners, but also kept hopes alive for some other candidates. And for Republicans, it set the stage ahead of Saturday's Kentucky presidential caucus. On the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton went a long way Tuesday toward winning her party's nomination by taking 7 states, including Texas. And she picked up hundreds of delegates along the way. But Bernie Sanders claimed victory in his home state of Vermont and in 3 other states and says his campaign goes on. The Democratic race doesn't come to Kentucky until the primary on May 17th. And if the trend continues, Clinton could have the nomination clinched before that. On the Republican side, Donald Trump was the big winner. He also took 7 states, and his opponents split up the remaining GOP delegates. Trump spent part of Super Tuesday in Kentucky, urging a crowd in Louisville to go to the caucuses on Saturday. Ted Cruz took his home state of Texas, neighboring Oklahoma, and we learned early this morning he also won in Alaska. Cruz's father will campaign in Kentucky later this week. He'll make stops in Louisville and in Bowling Green. Marco Rubio now has a victory under his belt. He took Minnesota in Super Tuesday voting. Rubio will be in Kentucky Friday for a campaign event at Lexington Center. A poll done by Western Kentucky University's Social Science Research Center is out today, and it shows Trump with a strong lead in Kentucky. Western's Big Red poll was conducted statewide among likely caucus participants. It shows Trump at 35%, followed by Marco Rubio at 22% and Ted Cruz at 15%. Ben Carson and John Kasich were in single digits. And it also shows 15% were still undecided when the poll was conducted last week. The margin of error is plus or minus 4.25%. You'll find information about the caucus on WKYT.com, and we plan a WKYT News special report Saturday evening at 7 with caucus results. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
A bill introduced in Frankfort would make community college more affordable for more Kentucky students. The Work Ready Kentucky Scholarship Program would provide free tuition for graduating high school students who attend any of the state's community and technical colleges. It's geared toward middle-income students whose parents' incomes are too high to qualify for many federal scholarships.
And they usually have a gap that they have to pay themselves, and we're looking to attack that gap.
The program will cost about $13 million for the first year and about $20 million after that.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
It's a good-looking sky for many of us across the area on a day that started out with some snows filling the air and at least coating some rooftops out there. Live sky cam as we look toward the west in Lexington. That sun, well, each day gets a little higher in the sky, and that'll be the case all the way through the first day of summer, and a little bit of cloud cover starting to creep back in. 37 degrees, feels like it is down to 32, so bundle up if you're going to be outside. Yesterday at this time, the cold air was slamming across western Kentucky into the bluegrass region. So right now, compared to this same point yesterday, 15 to 20 degrees colder across the region. 50s yesterday, many areas could not get out of the 30s. Here are the clouds coming into western Kentucky. Low pressure on top of Kansas, Nebraska. That'll dive toward the Tennessee Valley. Over top of that, moisture is coming up and over some of that warmer air out ahead of it. So precipitation shield will explode across parts of the Mississippi Valley. That'll scoot on in here as we go through the day tomorrow. So your 3-day threat track picks up on that. Rain and some wet snow. We could pick up on a little slush in some areas at times tomorrow, but temperatures are above freezing. Don't expect any big problems from that. Early flakes on Friday. It's a chilly afternoon again. By the time we hit Saturday, moderate because there's a chance for a couple of showers. So your Saturday may be impacted by some raindrops. It is still chilly with readings below normal. We are going to change that up. It's just going to take its good old sweet time in getting there. Brand new hour-by-hour forecast with a little preview tomorrow of some more winter weather. We go through the day. Look at that band of some snow, and where you see the darker blues, it could be some locally heavy bursts, could be those fat, wet flakes, and the temperature gradient from north to south tomorrow should be fairly healthy. 30s in the north, 40s across the south. Then tomorrow night, that colder air wraps on in, but the numbers really aren't dropping very much at all behind that system. Clouds around for Friday by the afternoon. Keep the fingers crossed we can kick off the weekend with some sunshine Friday afternoon, because by Friday evening it's a cold one with one more little system to impact our region on Saturday. You get that one on through here, and then it's game on toward a pattern that has a lot of warmth coming our way for next week. 40-ish tomorrow. Some areas may stay in the mid and upper 30s. Early flakes on Friday. Little afternoon sun should boost us into the mid-40s. Mid-40s again on Saturday. 52 Sunday. 70 a possibility Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. Middle and end of next week could turn awfully stormy across the region. I don't care. It'll be 70.
A Monday never looks so great, right?
No, the weekend. Saturday, it could be a shower chance. All isn't lost this weekend, though.
Sure. Chris, thank you.
All right.
Looks like a couple of problems still working. Traffic flows improved, but there is a collision I-75 south at the 110. That's near the Winchester Road exit. Police are working right now. And also a non-injury crash. It's actually been upgraded to an injury, looks like, at Winchester and Polo Club. The police are still working as well. Drive times this afternoon in a lot better shape on I-75 towards Scott County and Georgetown and across the Clays Ferry Bridge. Southbound 75 looks good. Now back to you in the studio.
The SEC Women's Tournament is getting underway in Florida, Rob.
Kentucky does not play until tomorrow, but the Cats now know their opponent. Will have a report from Jacksonville, and the big men, including Alex Poitras, coming through last night for Cal in Gainesville. John Calipari, what he had to say about it is next in sports.
Hello, Agent Morgan.
Once he's in your head,
You're letting your fear take over.
there is no way out. Danny Glover in an unforgettable role.
Why are you doing this to me?
New Criminal Minds, then on a special Wednesday CSI Cyber. Their greatest enemy returns.
You demented son of a...
We're here to have fun. CSI Cyber After Criminal Minds. New CBS tonight.
After 18 years of hot flashes, I had had enough. My thyroid was non-functioning. Used to have a lot of trouble with fatigue. I had dry skin. I didn't sleep. My energy level is amazingly high. No more hot flashes. Body Shapes Medical has changed my life.
Value City Furniture presents How to Get Inspired. First, get inspired. Okay, that's not doing it. Go out. Look around. Shop the boutiques.
Get up, Carl.
Find something you love. When you're ready to buy, head to Value City Furniture, where you can always find furniture just like at the boutiques, but at prices that will make you much more comfortable.
Perfect.
And that's how to buy the perfect piece at Value City Furniture.
Everyone has their own tastes, and Kroger has something for the one who likes eating healthy, the one who loves to eat, and the one just learning to eat. From cleaning the plate to cleaning the house, you'll find a brand for everyone in your family. And because everyone loves to save money, our exclusive brands are affordable too. Delicious, delightful, and made just for you. Everything to make your everyday special with our family of brands at Kroger.
Philip Pratt, a proud grandfather, a loving and caring family man, a hard-working small business owner, someone who knows how to grow jobs and change the landscape in Frankfurt. Philip Pratt will hold government accountable responsibly, fight Obama's crippling government overreach on our agriculture economy, and preserve our Kentucky heritage in Owen and Scott County. On Tuesday, March 8th, vote Philip Pratt for state representative.
By the numbers, Whitaker Bank loves the Kentucky communities we serve.
With Whitaker Bank's new home equity loan, I only had to pay 1% of my balance back monthly.
Whitaker Bank lets qualified applicants borrow up to 90% of your home's value to use now or down the road.
I had zero closing costs with the help of Whitaker Bank and the power of the equity in my home.
We share your passion, Kentucky. Love the bank that loves you back. Whitaker Bank is uniquely Kentucky.
When big news breaks, be the first to know. Download the WKYT News app and turn on push alerts. Breaking news at your fingertips when you need to know what's going on.
Body Shapes Medical gave me back everything I needed to be the best husband, father, and 44-year-old police officer. And they can do the same for you. This week only, all police and firefighters get these benefits along with $600 off an annual membership. Call today.
I'm WKYT's Barbara Bailey, and I stand for Kentucky.
John Calipari looking for a lot more from his big man last night in Florida, and he got it. With the exception of Isaac Humphreys, they all had good numbers. Alex Poitras, who didn't score against Vanderbilt Saturday, came through with a double-double, 12 points, 10 rebounds.
I need a confident basketball team, and it's not going to come from me building guys up who are playing like crap. That's not confidence, that's fake, and that's not how we operate. It is telling them the truth, work on it, now go do it in the game. Alex started very shaky, and then he came back and started playing a little bit better. So he's got to build on that now.
Alex is a senior, and senior day is next for the Wildcats. You will see it all right here. Kentucky and LSU Saturday at 2 on WKYT. The UK women's team opens the SEC tournament tomorrow, and the Cats now know who they'll play. Christy Thomas is down in Jacksonville.
Earlier in the season, there were questions about depth and could a depleted roster handle the grind of an SEC schedule. Kentucky has answered that question with a resounding yes, going on a 6-game winning streak with 2 of those wins coming in impressive fashion on the road against ranked teams.
My confidence in them and the choices that they're making on and off the court is at a real high level. If we were to lose down there, I would suspect it's probably going to be something where a team outplays us. I don't look for us to go down there and not hustle and really give a great effort.
What we're doing the best right now is on the defensive end. I think we're playing with a lot more focus, a lot more sharpness, a lot more intensity.
So the Cats will face 13-seed LSU, who was a 58-49 winner over Alabama. Kentucky has won 3 of the last 5 against the Tigers. In Jacksonville, Christy Thomas, WKYT.
Thank you, Christy. History made last night as Jenkins star Whitney Creech eclipsed the national scoring mark. But the record is not official. The National Federation of State High School Associations only counts points scored between grades 9 through 12. Creech has 5,428 points, but more than 1,100 came while she was playing as a middle schooler playing varsity. Still, it's an amazing accomplishment.
I mean, it's an incredible honor, and I just want to thank my coaches and my teammates. They put me in a great position to score the ball and to be successful.
Over 5,400 points. She scored 59 last night against Perry Central. She is averaging 50.4 per game. That is amazing. Coming up the next half hour, Cal talks about Scal. Stay with us here on WKYT.